Hello, everyone. Welcome to DAT 2321, formerly DAT 234. This is the 3D animation class. My name is Stephanie, and we are going to be doing a little bit of our work in these asynchronous videos. So this video is going to go over kind of how we use Blackboard, a couple general things in class, and the syllabus. Certainly, many of you are already familiar with this as you've taken classes with me before. However, we do want to review them again and go over any potential changes. The first up is simply why is this a video like this? Well, it's because of these four letters right here in the syllabus. This is our syllabus for the semester. A couple details might change by the time it's posted to you, but it's essentially the same thing. This is a hybrid class, so we will have our hour and 15 minutes that will be for discussions and question asking and going over some general concepts. But there will also be posts like this almost every week. This one's not live yet, so it looks a little weird. And it will go over some other videos that are more walkthrough-ish. So when we have our first assignment coming up, our first real animation assignment next week, where you work a little bit more independently, I will have a walkthrough of how to get started that will be posted. That will be asynchronous. You do that at the speed that you want to. During class, we will talk about the concepts of what's being put into there, the type of animation that we are using. But the walkthroughs on how to do the homework, those will be posted here. And I will say whether you are expected to do them beforehand or not. So a lot of this will, especially this right here, will be good for you to do before class. Most of you should already have mine already. If not, please do that before class. I will specify whether this has to be done before class or not. For our class this semester, we have class on, I believe it is Wednesdays, and so or Tuesdays, pardon me. I will probably try to post this before the weekend. I do want to give us a moment to deal with the previous week without just throwing the next week in your face, but I also want to give you enough time to look at things. So I'm trying to balance those two ideas. In terms of the Blackboard stuff, this is going to be the same as any other Blackboard class or any other DAT class you took with me in the past. Let me make this look like your view. Announcements will come up here. Virtual classroom is where we will have class. If you need to access an old class, you'll come here and you'll go to recordings. There are no recordings here right now, obviously. Eventually, you might have to say recordings and arrange if you are going back further than the last month. Your grades will be posted here. Please always check your grades before asking me how you're doing. It will be, it will, it'll be posted here along with your, how things are graded. We'll probably have more on that a little bit later. Syllabus will be posted here. There is a discussion board. We don't use it as much in this class. If that changes, I would certainly let you know. And then assignments. This is the meat and potatoes. This is where everything gets posted. For example, this is the first assignment. It comes with a file. You need to use that file. So when we have an assignment of any sort, and I say this is the file, this is the rig that you're using, that's what you have to use. And switching to something else is not going to work. You'll find out that that wouldn't make sense anyways as we go through the semester. There may also be demonstration materials each week. I will label those. They will very obviously not be assignments as there will be no instructions, and they will say demonstration materials. As we go, there will be more and more assets for you in here and more assignments. Assignments will always list the due date here. If I have not updated it from the previous year, please just let me know. Same with the formal due date. Oh, do I have these all on the wrong day of the week? I might have these all on the wrong day of the week. I will fix that. But we will, if you see that it says 2022, again, just let me know. I will fix it. I will know that you all handed stuff in on time if you handed in that day. Apologies for the blip. I went online to do some double checking, and I believe I am correct. Our class is on Wednesdays. So the due dates will always be a week later. If there's an exception, I will let you know. All right, so on to the information in the syllabus, which again is mostly stuff you're familiar with. But there are things that bear repeating. My email address is at the top here. I'll also post it in the first few announcements. It's my name at nv.edu, or what works better for me often is nvcc.comnet.edu. We are a hybrid class, both online and in the classroom. You have your choice of either going to L303 on site or being online only. Again, let's just, there we go. We what you can do is be online only the whole time, be on site the whole time, or switch back and forth. If you are needing to switch back and forth, maybe just let me know so that I don't need to, so that I'm not expecting you in the classroom and then it turns out you were working from home that day. So just let me know if you might be switching back and forth. Also, the fact that this is online does not mean that you can simply not attend class and then watch the class later every single week. So as I stated before, our classes are going to be saved. So if you have to miss a class, right, if you have any type of absence, step one is to come here to recordings and watch the class, right? Part of step one is also to touch base with me, ask if there's anything in particular you should know, and let me know, what your catch-up schedule is kind of looking like. What you should not do is never attend class and then watch everything just whenever you feel like it and then submit work and think you're going to pass like that. You will not. You do have to synchronously attend some of this class, the majority of it throughout the semester. We'll get to those details a little bit more later. There is no book. The prerequisite was just the fundamentals of 3D graphics, which is what we did last semester. Materials you will need is some way to store your work. So if you are working on site, you need a flash drive or access to Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever it is. OneDrive, doesn't matter, but you do need to have some way to store your work. The computer ate my homework is not going to work for this. Also, this is a direct continuation of the thing you took in the spring, or if you are being sort of signed into this class, it is, you are expected to understand Maya and its basics. While we might review a couple more technical things, how to move and pan and tumble and everything, that you should understand that. And the navigation, we're not really going to spend a lot of time on that. We're going to dive right into animation. Let's see, we went over this and this. Evaluation and grading. I will have something a little bit posted more for grading later, but like most of my classes, there are both objective and subjective things. I will have what is required of you spelled out in the assignments. So you can see here this little, anything that's in this bullet point, that is what you should be paying attention to. Earlier stuff will be super specific. Make this do this, make that do that. As we go through the semester, you will have more open-ended assignments. There will still be metrics you have to meet, right? And as I will describe later on, it'll be both a matter of how, meeting all of the requirements of the assignment technically, but also how well you meet them and how much you're really putting into it. Like if I say to flip the switch on and off, do you flip it on and off once, or do you really try to figure out the nice timing on that and have a lot more than the bare minimum of that in there? This is not your syllabus. Apologies. All right, next page. Yes, you've all seen the grade things 100 times. Class participation includes not just showing up in class, but there's some other things. Most of what you do in this class, this number is a little bit high. Most of what you do in this class is the stuff you do in the class. So it's homework, and it's your midterm and final projects, which are just bigger, longer homework. So this homework is a way for me to see that you have actually learned the things, and it is practice for you. And if you are going into animation in particular, it is a way for you to make stuff for your reel. So this is the opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. You do stuff for homework and you get credit, and also you have stuff at the end of the semester. Lab policies, you guys are familiar with those if you come into the lab. So here is our schedule. Each of these things in bold is an assignment, and you can see it's pretty relentless going into Actually going into this week. This is a different animation assignment, and these weeks right here are the ones that are like Hua animation, different animation each semester or each week. This is a much simpler thing. You are creating a rig. Um, we don't have a midterm assignment in this class, you guys. There's just too much to practice, too much to learn to have like a bigger assignment that starts here and takes 2 weeks. So what we will be doing instead of that is we will have a critique of whichever of these earlier exercises you prefer. It will likely be from here. These are the you'll have more practice under your belts, and you will hopefully have there's a little bit more creative freedom in these assignments, so it's probably going to be one of those two things that you show us. And because we need practice with critique, we need practice with presenting your work, and because you're not all in the same location, we need a way for everyone to see what everyone else is doing and how they're doing it. um, After that, there is a reworking animation thing, which kind of muddles a few people, but it's you have to take one of your previous things and do another passive animation. So one of the things we talk about in this class is you don't just like make it once and it's great. Redo, redo, self-critique, understand what isn't working, understand how to fix it, and do it in a way in the first place that it might not be the perfect timing, it might not look right, but you can fix it. Because if you do it the wrong way, it's technically under the hood, it's going to make it a nightmare scenario. So when I'm telling you guys, "Oh, don't put too many keys down, don't do this or that," I'm not just being like a meanie pants. I am keeping in mind that in this field, you have to rework things. Other people will have to rework your animation. And I have been in a situation where someone did it wrong and it was a nightmare to fix. We start with simpler rigs, a bouncing ball, a crane hand. Eventually, we get to a human character where we have poses and then a simple reaction. And then we do have no class the week of Thanksgiving. We are on Wednesday, but the school is closed. So, hooray, we get a week off finally. And then we're just into the final assignment. So, which will kind of be introduced here. You'll have a chance to think on it. And then we will be the final assignment here. So this is a long first half of the semester. This week there's nothing, um, or this week is a really short assignment, right? So it's due this week, but it's not too bad. And then the following week. So it's a little bit of a pause, a dip in the amount of work. But yeah, it's a pretty solid pace. What this means is that we want to be on time with our work as much as possible. So I'm going to have a little bit of a video on this probably next week. But essentially, as these assignments come up, you want to work on them now. You want to get them in on time. Each of these assignments that's listed here builds on the previous one. I'm sorry, my computer's being a little stubborn. Um, right? It does not make any sense for you to skip these two assignments and go right to here. You will not do as well with this assignment, and then going back to these, you will get much less credit because you already learned all these other tools and had more practice. So my expectations, my grades on this second week presume you have only had 1 week of practice. My grades on this week presume you have had 4 weeks. Each one builds on the other. They really need to be done in order, and you really want to stay on top of them because there's so many in a row. And we will talk later about why that's also, as a working professional, something you have to keep in mind. And we will also talk about how to manage that, how to give yourself the ability to stay on top of tasks. All right, so yes, we use Blackboard in this class extensively. Academic honesty policy, that's going to be hard to work around because obviously we can't really grab animation for somewhere else. I will know it right away. I've had people try to do animation in other programs and bring it in. It's You have to work in Maya and it has to be your own. This is another reason why we want to have everyone in class. So do do adhere to that. Oh, sorry, that's academic integrity. Let's see here. I'm sorry, the engagement policy is the one that says you have to actually be in class and not just watching it afterwards. All right. So absence and attendance, again, it doesn't matter why you're absent. What matters is that you're not there, and what matters is that you're playing catch up afterwards. It is up to you to play catch up afterwards. You have to be motivated to do that. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get on you about your late work. You're just going to get zeros. So do not look to me for your motivation and me getting angry and say, it's not going to happen. Um, let's see. So yeah, the excessive absence is more than one class missed. Um, Now, how much that counts against you depends on if you make the work up right away, if you make up watching the class right away and engage with me on that class, ask real questions about it, or do you not watch the class at all and then just ask me things that expect me to like re-explain the whole thing all over again, which I won't do. Also, if there's any sort of real extenuating circumstance, you need an appendectomy, so you're out, of commission for a couple weeks, just contact us. We don't need all the details, but if there's a real thing happening, contact myself and Professor Ray. We will work with you to work out a slightly different schedule and make sure you can get caught up while staying healthy and safe, et cetera, et cetera. I want you all to stay on top of things, but not at the risk of your health and others. Do not attend class when you are sick. So if you are having to use L303 and come in to the computer lab, but you have something contagious, the flu, COVID, any sort of fever or congestion, stay at home, watch the class at home, and we will help you get caught up. It's as much as participation and attendance is important, health and safety come first. You are consenting to be you are not being photographed obviously, but your the chat, which is anonymized afterwards, is being recorded, and if you unmute your mic to ask me a question, that is being recorded. So do keep that in mind. Classes being canceled. We are back now to inclement weather, being the class is actually canceled, not being moved virtually. However, because I have the technology at home to do it, I will likely, let's say there's a snow day in November. I will, first of all, you will be told by the school. Second of all, I will email you directly to say what we're doing. And thirdly, I will probably run a you don't have to come to it in real time, but you could if you want to class. So what would happen is, because we have so much material that we have to keep up with, let's say that there is a snow day here. I will still run the class on Wednesday at the time, just from home. It'll all be remote. And if you can sign in at that moment and we can all engage with each other as a half class, that's great. If not, you would watch it on your own time um, later on. And things being due, unless you have absolutely no computer at home and no way to upload things, you should still be uploading stuff in a somewhat timely fashion. Presumably, you would be going to the school the next day for some other class. So it's not like you're going to have an extra week to work on your stuff. Please do not count on the snow days for that. But one of the things that we want to work on is communication. So my email is at the top here. You can email me at any time. If you email me at 10 p.m., I will probably not answer till the next day. But ask me your questions when you have them. A week is an eternity to go without asking me a question about something like that. If you're working on further animation tools on Thursday and you run into a problem with the graph editor and you cannot move forward, that that's paralyzing. You have to email me. There's like a 98% chance that the problem is a tiny thing that everyone runs into all the time, and we just need to click a button or do something very simple, and you can continue your work. But if you don't ask me, you'll never know. It is your responsibility to reach out if you have a question. It is your responsibility to tell me if there is a problem, if you're falling behind, if you're feeling a little bit like lost and stuff. You need to tell me. I'm not going to hunt people down because this is college. You are adults. You have to reach out to me. So, always, yeah, it says ask the instructor first. Ask if you have, and it's a range time for meeting. I can either answer your question over email. I will oftentimes make a quick little video, like a YouTube video, and send it off to you, recording, my screen like I have done here to say, hey, it's actually just this. For just small issues, because they're easier to describe like that than with me typing out an email. But if it becomes more of a thing, we can always have a more formal like um tutoring meeting. It can't really happen in person. I live in New York State. I can only go to the school on the days I have classes. So we can meet remotely, but there are ways to get caught up. The sooner the better. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you pay attention to withdrawal deadlines and policies, etc. To deal with your student financial aid. Lots of resources listed here, including tutoring resources if you're having general computer issues. ACE, I highly recommend. Um, if you're having problems with your technology at home, um, in terms of how it works with Maya, shoot me an email. Maybe I can help. Maybe I can't. I make no guarantees. If you're having a problem with a school computer, you have to talk to IT because I have no idea how they have those things set up. All right. So, Office of Disability Services. If you have a registered disability of diagnosed disability of any sort of learning disability, at all, go to the Office of Disability Services. But when you go with a list of things that you specifically need. They don't do a very good job of providing you a list of options. They'll say like, "Oh, more time on tests." When you go to them, go with things like needs written instructions or needs verbal instructions, needs examples. I'll probably in one of my later videos for next week include a short little thing of other options. But if you go to them with options, maybe you can get something that's a little bit more specific to your needs rather than just filling out the form that they give you that's the same thing always. But if you have any type of learning disability, you have the right to these resources. I cannot stress this enough. You have to advocate for yourself. And it sucks, but that is what you have to do. I should also mention, I don't know if it is here. There is one other resource, which may not be listed here, but there is I'll put it in the other video. There is an advising service on campus. So like a general academic advising service that I highly recommend. They work with students, whether you have a disability or not. They work with students to help them kind of navigate being a student. Um, I want to say it's called Core, but I can't quite remember. So give me one moment. Guided Pathways Advising. Sorry, I paused the video just so I could look this up. They will work with you, I believe, since we are in this section right here. You would work from this room, but they work with some of our students. At least one of their advisors knows our department, and they will work on general. It's not helping you learn Maya. It's general studies, help, organization. How to school basically. All right. So I cannot recommend enough getting the help as soon as you need it. All right, but that is the syllabus. Like I said, a couple small things might alter between now and when it gets posted, but I wanted to make sure I got you this information as soon as possible. And this will not change until it does, until there's an epic flood or snowstorm or something, in which case I will let you know. This is here for you to kind of understand how the semester is going to look. The thing that matters for you is this. Blackboard is what matters. This is where you get your information from in terms of due dates. The syllabus can change at any time for any reason. I will let you know when it does. But this is where you get that information. All right, so thank you all so much. I'm sorry that went a little bit longer than usual. But I can't wait to meet you all in class. So I will see you next Wednesday.